It's 2022. It is 1:05 Pacific Standard Time PM. It is the Zombie Weaver from Roseman, California to you emotionally and sleep deprived zombies. What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's a part two from the other one I'm sending over to the far left and far right. Why not? There was something I kept saying something about religion. And man, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. It seems like I've got the extreme ends bottom feeding on each other, especially when it came down for religion and what God's thinking He's going to do. One particular video that got popped on there that I'd seen on the extremist ends, and it wasn't through this one major group that I'm sending it to, but I'm sending it out there anyway. How can people think God's going to? They don't know what God's going to think or do at this point over here. We have no idea. So when I keep saying, I can't even talk right. Liquid. When I keep seeing an extreme left talking about the extreme right regarding religion, I'm thinking you guys got to be careful with this stuff. This stuff will blow up in your face and you don't even realize it. It's like working with nitro. Faith is something personal to each of us. And you're going to be insulting the living crap out of it. It's going to be coming up and blowing yourself up in your face. Then let's see how you deal with it. We've already seen how it dealt with us physically in the real world. So when I have somebody talking about God's going to do this and God's going to do that, God, 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 it's like I have to keep looking up in the heavens at this point over here and trying to ask the question to Him. I know you're seeing this, and I know you've got a response, but you don't want to respond just yet because naturally, being a good God and the one who created everything, you're still having doubts and worries and fears at this point over here, and you've got the assurances at this point over here. But I know you're seeing a lot of people coming over to you, scratching their beards on this one. I'm one of them. Just to let you know, you probably already know it. So if people are going to start quoting you or thinking that they know what's going on, boss, there's going to be a lot of interpretations on what you want or what you think is going to happen. Shall we be fearful about it? Shall we be worried about it? What shall we be, oh God? I know we can throw up all the questions we want, and God's usually mysterious at this point over here. He makes His own answers in His own time. And we may not understand it because when it comes down for the divine divinity at this point over here, it's in a different language and a different universe than we are. Different realms, different laws of physics, so to speak. I don't know. People have been trying for a long time trying to figure him out and his dimension, and they still can't. We have artists, we have writers, we have comic book illustrators, we have people who dream, and they're looking at this and they're wondering and they're asking themselves, is God real? I would think so. But the problem is when you're dealing with transferring energy sources from one universe to another universe, it's kind of hard for something to materialize from the other universe into this one unless there had been a breach and there may or may not be any kind of reaction to it, much like a skin irritant attracting the nerve, getting the attraction of the nerves of the human host. When we get a painful cut, when we get a painful tear, and I'm not talking about broken bone from going out from the inside out. I'm talking about from the outside in. Okay, screwdriver. Now I got a more painful tool. Okay, but this is dull. very dull at the end. So it has no capabilities, no qualities of injuring me, except maybe in different techniques. But I'm not going to use one of those. I'm going to use this technique. Drag it across my skin. Okay, here we go. We are dragging across the skin. We are dragging across the skin. We are dragging across the skin. Okay, let's just say that was a knife. And there's blood coming out of the damn thing. And we peel it open. And what will we see with our own naked eyes? Our own human making. Maybe we'll be able to see nerve endings if we actually had microscopic glasses or something like that to see them. But those nerve endings would have been recording what the hell just happened, flashing information through the spinal column into the brain. Let me do that again without getting myself injured. Okay, from here. We have a major tear in the skin here. What are we going to do? And the brain goes, red alert! Pain receptors go on full alert. Clotting starts. We need to go into mass panic. Are we losing too much blood? Are we going into shock? And the brain goes in a lot of kind of activity at this point. Imagine universes like that. Our universe, the next one over, who knows? If the barrier had been broken, one way or another, would we know about it? We postulate and we theorize about the black hole theory. A lot of physicists in different areas, quantum physicists, mathematical, every kind of scientific and mathematical area, trying to determine whether or not we've actually got interdimensional rifts going on. And if we do, fine. Are they one way or are they both ways? And if they are both ways and proven in a laboratory or proven one way or another. The problem with science, we need to have physical evidence for that. We need to have records of it. We need to have proof. We need to have something. My point? Yeah, I know. There would be a reaction. There would be a reaction between the worlds. Maybe violent, maybe not so violent. I don't know. But there'd be a reaction. So if we actually had the ultimate dimension opening up in this world here, it's one thing to have the energy of the entities coming into this world, and people have called them ghosts or something like that because they're sucking out all the energy. So maybe we still feel cold and shivered. Maybe we still have their ghostly presence here, their former shell around, just to give us either peace, hope, or scare the shit out of us. I think about this stuff a lot. I think about it constantly. The energy involved is way beyond we know of. And the transition, well, we may have had angels walk around with us who manifest the energy necessary to transport from one dimension to another dimension. And we'll never know it. When I hear people saying that they know what God's going to do, they're assuming that under human knowledge, based of what they've seen and experienced, that God is going to reveal his plan to them for some reason. Now, if God had it that way, you think he's going to advertise it? I know some shenanigans will be happening. Charlatans doing the shenanigans. Try to convince people that they are the only ones. If they are going to be following true to what the Bible has said and quoted, and misquoted throughout the years, is he going to come down or not? Or is he going to be crossing through, just coming down? Who knows? But I'm always having a problem concerning about all these false prophets and everybody else who think they know what God thinks. I don't know what God thinks. I do care, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know what he's thinking. I don't want to know what he's planning on for me at this point over here. I don't want to feel comfortable about knowing that kind of fate because it would make me unusual. It would make me feel uneasy. It would make me feel out of my damn mind. So why am I worrying about it? Why am I worrying about somebody else talking about this damn thing? Because quite frankly, it's just a representative of the thinking out there already. People talking about false prophets left and right. People warning about false prophets and yet show themselves up as a prophet because they know God. Well, they claim to know God. There were some people actually who knew and claimed about God, but no longer here. Gave us works, gave us books to try to understand. And we're still confused as hell because we can't read it. It's in a language that is most suitable to our eyes and brain, but we can't decipher it. I just wish we could. Because if we had, maybe we'd be able to get out of this damn mess that we're in, or whatever it is. If he comes, and he probably will, I'll still have to deal with what I've got to deal with. I'll look at God. I'll say, hey, God, what's up? I don't know. He'll probably tell me, oh, not much. I'm still dealing with the stuff in heaven at this point over here, and I've been noticing the stuff down here on earth. What do you think's going on? If he's going to be asking me that question, I'm going to say, man keeps reinventing trouble for himself all these damn years. He tries to get along with himself, but he can't. Man keeps thinking that he's going to get himself wiped out from the face of the earth because you're going to be so pissed off at him because he can't satisfy Daddy. And Daddy's still trying to figure him out because he had to put free will into all of us. But the thing of it is, God, I know you don't like robots much. I know you don't like people doing mechanicals all the damn time because it doesn't please you. It pleases you when things are going theoretically all right. But if by choice, by hook or by crook or by something else going on, then all hell breaks loose. Chaos happens to the great machine. We all consider ourselves like a great cog in this machine. And if we happen to screw that up somehow, we get the machine police after us. Guilty consciences, other people with their own attitudes, God knows what else. Things that crawl out from the night and the day just to make our living more interesting. And it's kind of hard to deal with. We have people grieving their asses off left and right. They're in pain. Some don't even know it. Some don't even acknowledge it. And the ones who are acknowledging it are just totally letting their asses out and they're not wondering what the hell to do next. I'm one of them. We have people denying their pain, struggling on. Well, good for them. At least they'll be able to struggle on. We also have other people trying to make war camps. We have men who want too much. Well, mankind wants too much. Can't figure things out. Oh, we can get the technical aspects of things left and right, but more than that is how to live with each other. That's the problem. Take an example here, guy. I got a question for you. You got your palaces out there, right? You got your whole big palace right there. And you got rooms in this big, huge palace here, theoretically. Call it an apartment complex, all right, guy? And you being the manager, or Jay's is being the assistant manager. Probably doesn't like it much anyway, but still, example here. And you got the Holy Spirit being basically the plumber, the guy who does everything. I gotta think of some kind of hierarchy for you guys on this one. I know it's insulting as hell, but sometimes you're living here in the mortal world. It is insulting as hell looking at things like this. And you hear from different compartments of your great big palace. People belly aching. Of course, in heaven it doesn't do that, but out here on earth, this is what happens. People belly aching left and right. Inside their own unit, outside their own unit, in between the walls of the units. We just don't know how to communicate effectively enough with each other. Or care enough about how to solve the problems. Or how to figure out the problem before we can solve it. We can... I don't know what we can do. Can't call the police on them because it doesn't help much. Go over to them, we get yelled at. So what do? We don't know. We're stuck. You got countries, different land masses fighting it against each other. Massive resource war going on. Territory, ego, power trip, everything else going on in their heads. We want. Either you're with us or you're against us. God's got to be for us, right? Of course, I know you're scratching your head, boy boss. So, we have this us versus them situation. We trade with each other. We try to tolerate each other, but we also get into wars with each other because we have our own egos and our own resources, but then again, our own egos at work. We want. The other guy's got more, we're going to take it. Why? Because we need it. We can't trade for it. We can't beg, borrow, so we're going to steal it from them. And bomb the living crap out of them and use their land for us. Annex it. Their people is our people. Second class or third class citizens, doesn't matter. We're still going to use them. Things like this happening right now. I can't explain it any further. We also have some good people out here trying to help each other out. In whatever kind of form, capacity they can do or be. Sometimes we make fun of them. Sometimes we make fun of ourselves, making fun of them. We think we know better, but we don't. We really don't. So, in asking God something about this one, is going to be a challenge. How do you talk to the Supreme Creator and Deity about this stuff? Probably exactly how I did. Yeah. Meanwhile, the day goes on, marches on, got things to do. I will talk to you, or I'll talk at you a little bit later.